Hello, we are live, and this is Broken Worlds, a PBTA game based on the web and physical comic Kill 6 Billion Demons. It's going to be a tall order for our group here today, but maybe we'll get them started towards that number. Whom am I joined by? Just a quick, who are we?
Hi, everybody. My name is Matt or Matthew, and I excited to dive into this insane world. I just checked out the art, and it's like totally my jam. So I'm very excited.
Hey, I'm Rich, and I've read 2 chapters of Kill 6 Billion Demons as of a few minutes ago, and it's pretty. The art is pretty amazing, and it's very imaginative. There's some aspects of kind of the Hellboy mythos mixed in with some heavy metal, and I really dig that. So I'm excited to give this a shot.
I'm Michael, and I'm also excited to be playing. I've read the comic. I'm a big fan, and I will hopefully try to. I think we should maybe do things a little bit. Kind of take our own spin on things. What do you guys think about that? So that I'm not like, actually, that's not what really happens.
You have to be level 7 for that ability. I'm Daniel Fowler. I was into the comic long before it was cool and you noobs found it. Looking forward to it. Really love the art and the story.
Cool. And I am Slade. I'm going to be emceeing this crazy journey of ours. And yeah, I found the comic, and then I heard there was going to be some PBTA version of a game coming out, and I knew I had to back that Patreon page. I just get my hands on another cool PBTA game that's like a nice nexus of my interests. All right. So why don't we do it like this? I'll start by giving a kind of overview of the world. It's not going to be point for point accurate, but it's just going to be filtered through my recollection. And as this is a PBTA game, we're going to be expanding and contracting different parts of the setting. So don't worry too much about, as Michael said, like factual accuracy level. Level 7 is when you can do that. None of that. And then why don't we look at based on that information, look at the playable classes, the playbooks, and start making some decisions there. And then we've got kind of like a bonds mechanic where we have connections to each other among the characters. After that, maybe take a bio break once everybody's kind of got their character hammered down. Then we'll get into some nitty gritty. Another bio break near the end, and then finish off with a nice cliffhanger. And I will, after the session, hand off to Michael for our second session. Okay, so the World of Throne is, there's a beautiful image of it in the book. There's a beautiful image of it on the webcomic. Essentially, it's this great disc of a world with water kind of perpetually flowing from the center to the edges, and sort of jutting out from that, buildings in all kinds of crazy ramshackle ways. A lot of the buildings are made out of essentially ancient titans that were killed by demigods, and their corpses have been hollowed out, and people live inside them now. And their various body parts are, used as, sliced up and used as currency and all that kind of odd stuff. There are essentially 7 kings and queens of this area, and they've all agreed to kind of a peace treaty. But within the power struggles on the lower level, you've got guilds and banks and masses of indentured servants that carry out the bidding of all kinds of strange characters, devils and and angels. Humanity is pretty big in this setting. It turns out that spreading out from this central hub are 777,777 worlds out there, divided amongst these 7 kings and queens. And there are humans on an awful lot of them. So that's something interesting about the mythos. Earth exists, and if you're a human, you might have come from Earth, but apparently Earth doesn't have a lot of connection with this kind of strange dimension. Yeah. Other than that, we're going to be playing these heroic characters. So much like in Apocalypse World, each of your characters is like the one of that thing. Just like there's one gunlugger, one hard holder, capital H. There's one of each of these classes, of each of these playbooks. So all of your characters are epic, are kind of touched by fate, and are going to do something really cool and interesting, we hope. Yeah, so that's kind of my broad strokes overview of the world. We're going to be playing these epic characters within like a very complex, crowded, corrupt kind of city at the center of universes. And yeah, so do you guys have any questions about that? Maybe I can illuminate some of the finer points of it. Yeah, especially if it helps you choose your character class, your playbook.
Sounds pretty good to me.
We're on the central city, or are we on one of the outer worlds?
I'd like to start everybody in that central city of Throne, yeah. So even if you're a human from Earth, you're somehow important enough to have been transported by someone, or maybe even you're powerful enough to get there yourself. I don't know. But yeah.
Like a Bermuda Triangle deal.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd dimension that you've been sucked into. Matthew, you're happy with that?
Yeah, I'm looking through the class summaries here, and are there like playbooks, like full playbooks that we will get somewhere, or am I not seeing them?
It looks like the full rules got misplaced somewhere.
Oh. Yeah, something has disappeared there. So I've got PDF here.
If you want, I can maybe just make a choice, and you can just save that little bit out of the book and send it to me. Or if you got good internet over there, you could just throw it out. But I don't know if that would take some time.
Yeah. Michael, do I have write access to this folder here?
I believe so.
Okay, let's see if we can add a file.
Are you looking for a breakdown of each class, or?
No, I mean the summary has a pretty good idea of what each one is, but I don't actually, like, once I choose, I don't think there's playbooks anywhere in the folder itself.
Oh, okay. So if you open the character sheet, you can choose your playbook there, and it'll auto-populate stuff for you.
Oh, okay.
See, I think I've got the playbooks right here. I think this is the right file. Okay, it seems like it's letting me upload here.
Cool.
Okay, let's see if that is in fact the playbooks. Yeah, these are the playbooks. Okay, so it's a file called no blank - broken world sheets.pdf.
Nice.
And it's got, yep, where you record everything, and it's also got your moves. Cool. Yeah. And because a lot of this is new to me.
Where is this?
In the folder here. Here's the folder.
Oh, there we go.
Hi there. Where did you come from? Where did you come from? I like that our role for your party room name is Verbally Notable Labrador. There's a sentient dog. Says interesting things behind this.
Yeah, they always make me think.
Gonna mash them together and see if it makes sense. Rich, is that all? That answer any of your questions?
So far.
Cool. So I'll let you guys have a look at those. And yeah, just let me know if something jumps out or if you want clarification.
I think I'm going to go with the beggar for now.
Okay, cool.
I'm considering the boss.
Nice. Yeah, the boss is a little bit like a card holder chopper, kind of. You've got a big gang of dudes.
I noticed that the class choice limits the races.
It does, yeah.
So there's no such thing as an angel boss, huh?
Angels have a different kind of. I mean, they're kind of paladin-y, and it's kind of not their thing.
Petal knight, the petal knight, the little write up of the race. I was like, oh, a petal knight boss would be interesting, but yeah. I'm okay. I can.
I'm thinking about being the hunger, just kind of like a sorcerer type.
Uh-oh.
And I think that I will be going with the hunter, just having a last look over this, but
Hunger. Oh, the hunter. Ooh.
yeah.
Stuff. So Michael's put a heck of a lot of effort into this sheet here, and you can pull down the class. Looks like you guys are on top of it already. And I'll just note that you start with 1 power die each. And that's something that you can spend to narrate yourself, kind of like glowing with arcane energy or this type of thing. And you roll 3 dice and pick the 2 best. So it's advantage, basically. You also ignore any negatives when you're using their power dice.
What kinds of servants are you guys thinking of being?
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, a servant is kind of like It can be basically anything you want. It's the idea is it's something that was like created by the gods of old to serve a particular purpose, but now that they're all dead, nobody really necessarily remembers what those were. So my servant is going to be like, there's this cool art in the book of like a guy who has like a floating book for a head with like an eye in it, and that's like his body. So that's my servant.
Cool. So you don't necessarily have to go with like the 3 that are listed in the races document or whatever. I mean, those are. I'm not going to get too crazy with this, but you've chosen something that isn't quite defined there, right?
Right. Yeah, those are just the only 3 I could fit in the 1-page summary.
Right.
But like when you see like the like lion dude and stuff in the book, I think that would probably fall under servant.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, humanoid apes, like insectoid creatures, just a puddle of goo that moves around, like any kind of
Giant golden babies.
giant golden babies, which I'm sad that other games don't have. Now that I know that that's an option. Yeah, I love. We could just talk about the art.
We could.
It's so damn good.
Okay, well, we've got 2 servants and a human, so I feel like I should play an angel or a devil just for the sake of mixing things up. What's the assumption for our like party dynamic?
Oh, sorry. I had human. I'm not sure why I meant to go with devil, so I switched to devil. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I know it says on my sheet that I have blue eyes, but I actually have gray eyes.
Cool.
As to party makeup, I think the only assumptions that we have are that you are all going to eventually want to try to do one thing. There can be a devil and an angel working together, as there, I think there is in the comics eventually. Yeah, but as far as motivation in a city that's this ruthless, a lot of the motivation is just getting enough money that you can get out of indentured servitude or get out of the rat race, or have your own little holding. I get the feeling it's very oppressive, like bodies crushed against bodies in most neighborhoods. Like it's just packed with stuff. The world is just so packed with stuff that money can kind of like give you a bit of breathing room. So as long as you like money or see its utility, I think you can all work together. Devils and angels might have some kind of moral reason for it, but that's a facade.
For proficiencies, like I have to choose a couple. I guess I'm just putting it in notes because in proficiencies it lists everything. Pancreation. Does anyone know how to pronounce that? And I believe it just means hand to hand, right?
Yeah,
empty-handed.
wrestling.
Kind of an MMA of the ancient Greeks.
Yeah. So, any idea on how to pronounce it? Pancration?
Pancration? Let's see if I can find it.
I think it's a Greek word or Roman.
And for great weapon, would that just be like a huge sword or a column or something, ridiculous?
That could be, but if you look at the gear list of weapon descriptions, it also kind of tells you a little bit more about them. I like the giant column idea, though, especially if you're going to be a giant golden baby fella.
Where's the gears?
On the character sheet on the second tab there.
Oh, okay.
Pancration, I assume.
Okay. Where do we see stats? I'm sure you've already said this, but I'm slow.
No,
It's very faint right above the circles in the character sheet.
And also, if you hover over body in your column, it'll have a little note about with a reminder for what your array looks like.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
For gear, when it says pick any, does that mean any to all? Or do I pick one? Or
let's see. It should be any to all. Who's any? Yeah, any to all based on what I see here. Yep.
I assume we're starting at level 1, no advanced moves.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm pretty much done. Let me see if I can find a picture.
Bitches, I'm taking all the heat.
You will be very charismatic.
Boss. Got to be the boss.
Gotta have it. You also get a new stat called Boss. It's kind of cool.
Sweet.
We might need to add that to the notes. I'm trying to figure out here.
Whoa. Vegas. I sort of see my servant race as a group built for like construction. And I'm kind of theming him on a rhino beetle.
Nice.
My character description would be the Tick and Bob the Builder. I may swap body and heat here.
Yeah. Yeah, because heat is more so the charisma, that like stirring oratory and glowing with power and running into combat kind of stuff.
Oh, I saw improvised weapon, and I wondered what would be the most interesting thing to use as a weapon, and I landed on wheelbarrow, and then I wanted to be a builder, and so I wanted to be a rhino. That's my character concept.
I like it. Cool.
Is there a description of the stats anywhere available to me, or I guess what is breath? What is breath about?
It's kind of a stamina stat.
It's how in touch you are with the atom or soul. A character with a high breath not only has the incredible constitution and body health, but also has aligned the energy pathways in their body to the point that they can perform unbelievable physical feats of endurance, such as turning blades away from their skin.
That was
Cool.
off the top of your head?
Yeah, just making it up because it was
That's
way better
amazing.
than like you don't brush your teeth. No, it's off the details of the play sheet page of Broken Worlds.
I was looking in the wrong spot for that.
Mind is intellect, vision, acuity, and perception. Heat is bravery, courage, physical presence, heroism, and charisma or charisma. Reflex, of course, is what you think it is. It also measures accuracy and embodies physical power, muscle bulk, and strength.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I recommend when you want to start further editing your sheet, if you would just copy the columns that are contained into your character and then pasting it right back as values only. That gets rid of all the formulas and stuff, and you can just edit it directly if it's giving you trouble. When you right click, you'd hit paste special.
It's hilarious. I actually found that exact Blue Devil pick, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I would have gone in and removed the little hayseed or whatever the hell he has in his mouth, but everything else about it is cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's going to characterize him a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. You could definitely lean into that. According to YouTube, it is pronounced pancreation.
One more time.
Pancreation.
Pancreation.
Pancreation. You start with proficiencies, but do you start with the stuff that you're proficient in? Because it's very vague. Like, I start with maybe nice clothes. Your weapon.
So-
Okay, there is a thing that says your weapon. Okay.
Yeah. Does the boss not have starting gear?
Well,
They may-
I think it does, but I'm not. Your gang. Your gang's equipped with anything. You wear either the same as them shabby or plain clothing, wear the same or fine clothing, and you have a mark of power. And you choose jewelry, accoutrement, a badge, an item of clothing, your weapon. Does that mean I don't have a weapon? You have a weapon
The final
you're proficient
sentence,
with.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So your weapon could also be your mark of power.
Gotcha.
That's how I read that.
For since I have a true holy symbol or a religious text, um, I'm not certain how to pronounce a true either, but is that a specific item or is that like generic holy symbol that I define?
I'm pretty sure you define it, but let me find the beggar. Yeah, I would just have you define what that is. An atru, maybe atru, an atru holy symbol. Why don't I copy paste these here? Okay. Okay, so now everyone should be able to edit those bonds without messing up all the data in the back end.
One of my proficiency options is needle. Is that defined in the world? Is that like a range thing or?
Your proficiency is needle.
Yeah, in one of the characters in the comics, it's like a throwing thing. It's like this long. It's like a chopstick but beefier.
Okay, I saw one of those then. Cool.
Like or like a weaponized nail.
Perfect.
So we did say that like if we have a weapon proficiency, we start with that weapon.
Not necessarily.
Oh,
That was Rich's description, but the starting gear and the proficiencies don't always match. So What does the starting starting gear say for the beggar?
A bunch of stuff. It doesn't really list any weapons, except for I think I've got a walking stick and workman tools.
Right.
Can I say that in workman tools is a wheelbarrow?
Sure. Are we gonna call that a great weapon?
Or I think improvised.
An improvised weapon. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it would otherwise be a great weapon because it requires two hands, I guess.
Right. But it's an atypical weapon anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. How are people doing? Are we getting close?
Pretty good, I think.
Pretty good. If people are thinking they're almost done, we can think a bit about the goal, flaw, and bonds. Your goal is just that, something that you want to accomplish. I want to seek revenge on or on the person that killed my mentor. You know, these kind of like, I want to find out what happened to my father. I want to, whatever goal you want to try to achieve. And then your flaw is something negative about yourself, but that also pushes you forward. It could be arrogance. It could be morbid curiosity. It could be just narcissism. So something like that. That although it's a flaw in your character, it does kind of push you forward.
For the beggar, some of the advanced moves are like deal with drunken boxing, which I don't know how much. I don't know how far we're going to go with this. You know how far we're going to get, but it's not really something I. Well, I don't know. I might explore it. I might not. I kind of want to say that if I tap into that, if I get drunk or use alcohol, it changes my character. It makes me mean or unfriendly or unhelpful.
Okay. As a point of role playing, or as a point of rules, maybe change, or
like role playing, I guess. There's a lot of benefit to getting drunk and using the drunken boxing stuff, but I think it's something either I'm going to avoid unless I have to do it, and if I do it, I'm going to change character a bit.
Okay. Cool.
Do we choose a martial arts school, or is that later on stuff?
I think that's later on stuff. Are we looking under the proficiencies?
No, I just know I saw martial arts was in the folder, and I just didn't know if that was something I should look at now.
Oh, I see. Not just yet, I would say.
Cool.
Yeah, it's the combat section still giving me a bit of a runaround with understanding it.
Yeah, some of those martial arts things have things like you have to, I don't know, spend 100 years studying blah blah blah. It's like, if we do later on choose that, can we just say that had happened in the past? You guys didn't know about it, but I spent a year at some monastery learning something.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting to unlock hidden abilities. Cool.
And what's the mechanical component to goal and flaw? Like, how do they play into the rules?
I don't think that they do directly. Other than you can mark XP if you achieve your goal. Yeah. That one didn't make a lot of sense when I went through it.
Just a heads up, Michael, when I chose Devil as my race, it auto-populated the angel description or race move, I guess. And when I was trying to change it before, it was messing with the formatting, so I'm not sure how to do that. Thank you.
Yes, should be good now. I think I'm nearly done with my character.
I'm pretty much done, except for goal. Oh, also, stamina and wounds. Are those calculated somehow?
Yeah, it's based on the playbook. And it's just in like light gray text beside. So the hunter has 3 wounds and 3+ breath stamina. The breath stat will affect one of those. Will affect your stamina. And your armor is currently 0, I believe. Unless you've got something in your equipment that adds to it. Seems like armor is a bit more rare in this game than it is in Apocalypse World.
Are we going to do anything with this power and break dice stuff?
Yeah, it depends on which moves you guys choose. There's some moves that when you fail, I get break dice, and some that I think give you power dice. But you'll get one at the beginning of every session. And there are a couple other sort of narrative triggers that give you power dice, and then you spend them to be awesome for extra awesome for a little bit.
Wow.
I noticed, actually, I just saw in the character sheet that the stamina and wounds are calculated by the sheet, but the calculation comes out to 3, and the character sheet says 3+ breath, so my breath is 1, so it should be 4.
Yeah, I realized when I put in +1 instead of just 1, it won't do math. So
Uh, hmm.
I'll be back in like 2 minutes, guys.
Okay. How you doing there, Matt? Have you got a goal for your character?
Yeah, I was just thinking of how to word it, but I think it's like to live up to the legacy of my family of assassins who have all come from various schools, and yeah.
Okay, neat.
I don't know if it's really good, but my goal right now is looking for a job that lets me study throne architecture.
Okay, yeah.
Or I guess, I mean, that's why I'm here, but like as we meet up and things develop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want our goals to be something actionable or just descriptive? What do you think?
I like what I'm seeing so far, where they're all maybe a little longer term. I think that's good. I think it's kind of like what you would be trying to do if you weren't busy with everything,
Hmm.
kind of your heart's desire. Um, so yeah, that's what I see so far, and I really like that. I think that'll be good. Yeah. Well, I think when Rich gets back,
Rich is back.
We should do some bonds here.
Is Daniel back or gone?
Are you here, Daniel?
Daniel's chewing.
Okay.
Thank you, Daniel.
So let's do some bonds. So
Should we intro characters or?
Yeah, yeah. You don't know who you're bonding with unless you know the characters. Yeah, let's go. Rich, Michael, Matt, and Daniel.
I am playing Zorakir, who is a red devil. He is a boss. His gang, they call themselves the Scullery because they were all the employees of a cannibalistic hibachi grill the Zorakir won in a gambling match. They were the kitchen staff. They're very good at cutting. The hibachi grill didn't last long because Zorakir didn't have much interest in it. So when it failed, he just had them take up their different various brands of cutlery, as well as meat tenderizers and hooks. And they have become a gang, continuing to call themselves the Scullery because they think it sounds like skulls. I think the gang themselves are not terribly bright, which makes Zorkir feel even smarter.
Amazing. Cool. Michael, tell us about Epitome.
Yes, I am playing Epitome the Sorcerer. He's a member of an actual esteemed collection of sorcerers, but he is particularly proficient because he has a very well-connected patron, 76 Black Winds or Winds of the Black Dawn, who's a fallen angel, and has a hoard of secret ancient information that he stole from the heavens, and so he kind of serves this this fallen angel because Epitome wants to achieve this ideal of scholastic perfection, which he thinks will allow him to achieve complete detachment from the world and achieve nirvana. So he goes around and studies martial arts and philosophy and all these things. And also his head is a giant floating book. Yeah, that's Epitome.
Cool. Matt, tell us about Varric.
Yeah, Varric is an assassin, comes from a family of renowned assassins, which doesn't work out so well sometimes when people find out who he is or where he comes from. But I think he's always been a climber, and he ended up in the spider school just because it made sense to him, and he's never he rarely walks around like a normal person if he can avoid it, because he does have this proficiency and he just likes to show off so much. He's young, he's a bit impulsive, he's cheeky, he can be mischievous, although sometimes he can be rude to others, mostly strangers and older people. He's youthful for sure, and he's pretty analytical. He can kind of look at a situation and analyze it pretty quickly. That's what's gotten him by as an assassin so far. And yeah.
Cool. Daniel, tell us about Cube.
Cube is of the servant race, whose name I actually haven't thought up yet. But he's built for labor and construction. Pretty much the tick, wearing construction gear. Soulful compound eyes and inquisitive antenna. His with the beggar, his things are all about being with the common people and being able to travel and get things and get favors from lower folk. Also, being able to use just about anything as a weapon. Though he's also proficient with great weapons, big two-handed tools, sledgehammers, and that sort of thing. The reason he's here is he's looking for work, specifically, hopefully that will allow him to explore the architecture of Throne. His weakness is he's got a weakness for alcohol. He's been sober for 30 days, but he knows it's a problem, and it's probably also part of why he's here and not out on his home world.
Okay. Trying to get away from that environment, maybe?
Well, he was probably just deemed a menace.
Okay, cool. Does that stimulate any thinking about the bonds that you guys might have with each other? Take a look at some bonds and see what jumps out. Got 3 bonds and 3 other characters.
Cool. I like the idea that my gang and I have beat the crap. I don't even know of Epitome has crap. but my gang and I have beat the crap out of Epitome before. Yeah, I like that.
Harsh.
I had to beat the crap out of somebody. Might as well be the bookish one.
Loose pages everywhere.
I think I could see Varric tried to stop my machinations in the past.
Oh wait, before we go any further, I just want to flesh it out a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So Epitome, do you think maybe he was was he at the grill during maybe some of the last nights and reading over much and that Zorkir just took it out on Epitome because he knew he was about to, or do you think there's another, like he was more actively causing a situation where Zorkir's gang, the Scullery, would beat him down?
Well, I guess that would just come down to what would be enough to incite the Scullery. If reading a book is enough, I could have maybe been unhappy with the temperature that my meat was cooked to.
Well, that sounds good. I like that.
Yeah, so complaints to the kitchen, right?
Ooh, did you write a bad review?
Yes. Oh, yes.
There we go.
I pinned a nice little like Yelp scroll to the wall, you know.
Oh my god, they hunted you down. So good. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, you're not the first bad review I've given, but you're the first that I've.
You're the last, right?
Rescinded.
Stop now. You learned your lesson, right?
Man, this is really just a power fantasy for restaurant owners. Take it out on their Yelp reviewers.
Hey Matt, or Varric, you mentioned that Varric has like masters, or he's from schools. Would he be wealthy, or in a wealthy order?
Yes, I think it's not typical of his, or not necessarily because of his order, but because of the family that he comes from, this long line of assassins, that they have just amassed a lot of wealth. So I think that would make sense.
I have a bond that says insert character name has the stink of wealth around them. Would that fit Varric?
I think so. I think Varric might resent it a little bit. He doesn't want to be seen as spoiled, but I think, that's definitely something that you might pick up on. To throw one back at you, I think that is it Cube or how do you pronounce it? Cube?
It's Cube.
Cube, cool. Well, just by the sound of your name, I think you might slow me down if I need to get out quickly.
Yeah.
Lugging that wheelbarrow around.
I will block a passage.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. One of the things I like in the comic is some of the characters have these really long sentence names. Like White Chain Grasping Heaven. Is like first name followed by a long sentence. And so I called, just because I suddenly realized I hadn't thought of a name, and someone mentioned Kubo. I named myself Cube, and then the subtext there is 24 right angles.
It's great. I love it. I think for one of my bonds, I'm going to go with Zorakir was one of my targets once, though they may not be aware of it.
Oh man, you think it was had to do with the restaurant owner who lost to me, thought that I was cheating because I was, and sent you after me? Is that good?
I think it's definitely possible. This is big business. People are all about pleasure of the flesh and of consumption. I think I can see that restaurants being huge in this place. So I think that's someone would definitely have just cause.
You would think it would be huge, but guess what? It doesn't last very long. It's actually a terrible, terrible kind of restaurant. Cool. Thank you.
So I actually have 4 names to fill in on my bonds, because one of them is a dual bond. And it says, I met character on the road once, and we barely escaped from character. And obviously, like, we've got an assassin and we've got a boss of vigilante former cooks, which would either of them would fit the second name. Who did I meet on the road once, and we barely escaped one of them? So I'm guessing. I can't scroll around on this. Epitome. Could we have met on the road, and maybe that was when you were in trouble with Zorkir?
Sure. Would you be the kind to nurse a battered book back to health, or what?
Yeah, certainly, especially if I thought you were able to pay for food.
Fair enough. Yeah. The greedy Samaritan. I had a couple ideas for my bonds. I already mentioned maybe Varric tried to stop my machinations in the past. I'm imagining might have had a contract out on me or something like that. That's a pretty
What kind of machinations?
I think that I'm just gonna lock in epitome here. just
Okay.
See any confusion. I think maybe epitome has a tendency to go sticking his nose in places he shouldn't in search of like knowledge and stuff, and maybe doesn't have the best like manners when doing that.
Cool. Maybe I had a contract on somebody that you were working with or trying to accrue knowledge from, and I actually like fulfilled it, and it was like an important relationship for you or something.
Yeah, I like it. Never got their secrets. And I also was thinking, Cube. After you saved me, I noticed that your chitin is extremely useful to me in my rituals. I would love to have it.
Okay.
A horrible way to repay someone, but maybe if you lose a scale or two, you know.
Yeah.
It's so shiny. And unless somebody else has one, I don't want to take up too much, but I'm thinking maybe for my final one that I have watched Zorakir secretly for some time. They may not know about it.
I have no idea.
Okay. I don't see Epitome being very, like, wouldn't hold a grudge. So he is sort of watching you for some other reason.
Okay. And when I say I have no idea, Spatula's told me several times, but I don't believe him.
Okay. Yeah, you gave me a pretty good beating. You wouldn't think I'd be back after that, right?
Exactly. That's what I keep telling him. There's some other book-headed individual that's not Epitome.
Yeah. For Zorkir, even after I help Epitome, is it Epitome? I thought it was something else.
I'm locking it in. Epitome.
So the word's actually epitome, but the book thing, I think we were jokingly calling it epitome, like tome, like book.
Yeah.
So it was a silly joke, and I liked it a lot. But
I thought that was.
I respect that you locked it in. It's epitome.
Maybe after it, maybe you're not aware of me helping Epitome, or maybe you are, but I've definitely shared good times recently with Zorkir. I mean, if you've got any use for labor and if you serve good food, I call that good times.
What do you think about, let's just double up, and I go with a bond of, is it Cube or Cube?
Cube.
If Cube was a former member of my gang, you cool with that? You left on good terms?
Okay.
You're like an auxiliary member of the gang. You never actually leave. You just go find other employment, and I don't have to pay for you or give you food.
I'm a contractor.
Exactly. It was a
job.
Yes. Sounds great. Which Lee?
And my last bond
Yeah,
is.
sure. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
You.
So my last bond is I met Epitome on a contract once, though they didn't know it at the time. And I'm thinking that was simply the contract that I went to kill that person that you were working with. Maybe we met like on my way in or something. And I had a friendly kind of bantery conversation with you and then went to kill the person you were there to see. And you were never really totally knew about it. But that was when we met.
What a delightful meet cute.
And then my last one is I know that Varric is well known in the underworld. I know that he's from an assassin's family. I just thought he really liked the kebabs.
Cool. I think we're all set. We are bound to one another now.
Are those bonds just basically backstory fiction kickers? They don't have a helping or mechanical impact?
They're all just tying things together.
Cool.
Right. So let's take 5. Quick rest. Have a sip. And yeah, come back in 5, and then we'll launch right into things.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Matt, are you secretly there? Well, we'll give Matt another minute or two.
By the way, Daniel, I think I have you to thank for kind of leading me to this comic. So thank you.
Oh, sure, no problem.
It's really epic. I'm digging it.
Kind of sad that you have to wait so long for more content.
Yeah. But he put so much detail into like each, I don't even know, page, I guess, right? It's just like
Yeah,
kind of worth it.
it's kind of interesting. Like all the webcomics I read now also use the alt text in the image. If you're not aware of that, every page has some message in it when you hover over it. And a lot of the comments are like very poetic.
Yeah, there's some good comments. Sorry about that. I had to deal with the puppy for a second.
Shall we dive right in? All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. My plan is to have each of you have one and a half interesting little scenes that kind of show you in your element, and then start having those lines start to converge on the same sort of location, the same sort of goal. So, Varric, our hunter devil, you are at the Flesh Hook. This is a great big building with roots that kind of go deep into the earth. And you're in the sort of central area that's shaped like a bowl. To the left and right of you, there are demons and humans and various kinds of servant. And everyone is watching the auction block. Someone's contract is for sale, but they aren't who they say they are. So who is on the block, and what's their real, or what do they say is up with this person? Or
So someone is selling a contract to kill another person, and is the person selling the contract who isn't who they say they are, or the?
Oh, sorry, no. This is the contract for employment of this person.
Okay.
Essentially, it's indentured servitude. So this person is going to be handed off to someone after the bidding ends.
And so the person who's being effectively sold is not who they appear to be?
Right.
So I would know them as someone more significant for whatever reason, and so maybe they are a student from another school and they're undercover on a job themselves. Would that work?
Yeah. Okay. And who do you not want to win this auction?
Do I not want to win this auction? Let's say that there is let's say that there's another like boss out here, someone who, I'm trying to think of, like, maybe it's because that I know this person is undercover, the reason why I wouldn't want this person to win this auction, right? So do you think the various schools have animosity with each other, or is it more of kind of like a different branches of the same thing?
Oh no, I think it's bitter rivalries and backstabbing all the way.
I had figured. So who would I not want to win this? I think that it would probably be someone who, I don't know why I'm having trouble here.
I mean, there's some pretty ruthless folks here who might be looking for a good deal on actual just human flesh for consumption. Potentially, there are just some unscrupulous demons who are looking for meat.
Right. Then why isn't it I'm thinking that maybe I have, yeah, I think Michael's idea is good. I wouldn't want my rival collecting before me. It could be that we both have. I'm worried that we both have the same contract. So, this person buying an assassin could be them, getting into the wrong hands, and could also make my job a lot more difficult.
Okay, cool. I think this guy is a human who's somehow managed to carve out a bit of a empire for himself here in Throne. His name is Gopati, and he's just looking for a human to do a bit of bookkeeping, and this looks like a good deal because this person looks kind of shabby. And I think Gopati is winning this bidding. Zorakir might also be there. Rich, what do you think? Would Zorakir be interested in the sale of a human?
Sure. Mostly as a middleman. I don't really have much need for humans since the restaurant closed.
Right. Okay. Gopati might be getting this guy for really cheap. Are you interested in stepping in and outbidding him?
Is the human sick?
No, it just has a kind of weary look about him and just kind of hunched over. And
humans are so frail. Do I think that I can make double if I just outbid this?
Oh yeah, this guy's going for like meat prices, and
for meat prices, there we go. I can just recoup. Yeah, I throw in. I've got a paddle. I don't know if anyone else is using a paddle. I brought it.
Yeah, the caller just like notes it. It's this giant ape-like creature with 4 hands and is just variously pointing to different locations in the crowd. Gopati turns to you and kind of narrows his eyes, and he doubles his bid above what you had put on, which is kind of unheard of. And there's some gasps, and there's a demon beside you, a little blue demon that just kind of shrieks in excitement.
And I think we just get a shot of like my mouth, and it like clenches up kind of like, and I bite down on the straw of hay that I was kind of chewing on earlier, or whatever weird plant that is that grows down here. And I would like to maybe try and I have a move here for infiltrating, deceiving, or passing undetected in order to accomplish a specific goal except killing. And I was wondering if I could maybe sneak into Gopati's camp and try and eavesdrop for some info that might tip me off on, I don't know, like what their plans with this person would be, some other kind of info as far as like where they're planning to go afterwards, if I could find a good time to make this work.
Cool. Yeah, so when you're rolling dice, you can also push, which means you take the 2 dice, you roll them, but you don't add your bonus. If you do that and succeed, you get more power dice. If you do that and fail, I get break dice that I can use later to mess with your effect. If you don't want to like push your luck on it, just give us the 2 dice rolls from Verbally Notable Laboratory.
I think I'd like to. So the terminology is push.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'll just roll 2d6, see what fate gets me here. I think it's definitely in character for Varric, so let's do it.
Cool.
That's an 11. So on a 10 plus, I pass undetected, accomplishing my goal as I choose. So this has got to show a little bit of my spider school talents here. You said that we're in, it's sort of like a tavern called the Flesh Hook. Is that what it is a little bit?
It's a giant multi-story complex, and the place you're at right now is kind of like a velodrome, or a velodrome. It's oddly specific. Like a kind of indoor arena, and in the center you've got like just a raised platform, and on one side there's this assassin guy, and there's a 4-armed ape pointing out into the crowd.
Right. Then I think that I might like move over to one area that's like really busy with people. Maybe there's like some very tall demons and strange beings that I can kind of hide behind. And I want to get to an area where I can start scaling up the wall and like up on like the dome wall, and basically crawl all the way around to the other side of maybe to get past some guards or onlookers from Gopati's entourage, and get into a good area and kind of drop down from like a catwalk sort of.
Cool. Yeah, he has hired a bunch of red demons on his left and right, and watching his 6, but none of them are looking for people coming from above.
Cool.
Nice. Let's quickly look back to Zorak here. Are you just gonna let Gopati win this thing?
There's something about this human. I want to know. Is there any way I could like look at the humans? There's something about him that's different or unique.
Sure. That sounds like it's kind of a prize secrets roll.
Okay.
So in that case, we'll roll 2d6 and add mind.
All right. I have a +1 mind. And I have rolled a 10, so that is an 11.
Awesome. So that's 3 questions from this list. Try to answer truthfully. I just dropped them in the chat there.
What here could be useful to me?
About this guy? Yeah, he has the kind of like gristly, gangly look of someone who could very easily infiltrate buildings. And maybe the musculature to match. This is no ordinary laborer, to be sure.
What here seems false or deceitful?
Yeah, so the way that the auctioneer initially introduced this person is complete fabrication. This is not just a weakling.
So does the
Somebody
auctioneer appear to be in on it? Do I get the sense that the auctioneer is kind of doing an underhanded deal to give Gopati what he wants?
Yeah, probably. That seems likely. Because the
Okay.
auctioneers it knows better than that. Like this guy sees 100 people come through a day. There's no way he thinks that that's what this guy really is.
And what seems to be the safest path forward? I think I know, but the other questions are less interesting than that.
Let Gopati win, and then waylay his party later at a later date. Winning at this point would be pretty suspicious. So it depends on who you want to have suspicion drawn upon.
I lower my paddle sadly, look over to Gopati and give him a gracious nod of my head. Yes, I get that you are the greater bidder here.
Cool. So yeah, Gopati wins, and this dude, let's call him Sulabin. Is kind of escorted off to the side, out closer towards where Varric is infiltrated. Let's jump to Varric for a second. What is Varric up to?
Varric is he's thumbing his knives, kind of like just checking through his collection, kind of like making sure everything's all in place. I think he also has a chain that he has wrapped around his body, and it ends in kind of like just a simple curved blade. I think I have a picture I'll drop in later, but he's got that kind of wrapped around him in case he gets into an altercation. But for now, he's mostly trying to get as close to Gopati as he can, ideally to hear some information, but also to get a really good look at him and see, just kind of get a read on him.
Okay. Well, he's glowing with pride at having bested this red demon in a bidding war, and yeah, he's just kind of chuckling to himself. He turns to his clerk on the right and says, "You got that all noted down? Good.
Does he look like he is especially proud, like he might have been tipped off or something, that this is a better deal than he had thought? Like, I imagine this assassin is probably trying to create a situation where they can get close to him if he's the target, right? Mm-hmm. So does it seem like Gopati is, he thinks there's more going on here?
Oh, yeah. And he's packing things up to leave. Normally, you kind of stay till the end and see, what else could go on. This is a bit out of character. Like, nobody leaves halfway through the auction unless they've run out of money, which he has not.
Mm-hmm.
So he's packing up his retinue, and he's got some, as I said, red demons on the outside there. Just kind of like watching all the exits and following him.
Then, I mean, I'd like to get Zork here involved somehow in this, but if I might need to just kind of follow for a time, but maybe I don't know if I expect a fight to break out, but I don't know if Zork here would have a particular motivation.
What?
There.
Of course I have a motivation. I can make this is even better than outbidding him. I get it free now.
Yeah, and maybe you don't know exactly what I would, and I'm sure that Varric would use that to his advantage. So
Zorkir's totally going to get Hooker, Pairing, and Cleaver to go follow skulk about, and then he and the rest of the gang will make their way up to waylay Gopati and steal Sulabin.
And make
so, yeah, you can see that.
cool. And make I think that Varric would try to make himself seem to you somehow. I wonder if there would be a particular like you work in a kitchen, right?
We stay in what was once a restaurant but was closed down.
All right. Well,
Due to bad reviews that were totally unfair. Sorry.
no, it's okay. I think I would make from my vantage point, which is maybe up in the rafters a little bit, I would make a noise like the sharpening of a knife, like shinking my blades together, like a noise that you might hear often or something, to try and like get you to look up. And
of course, Zorgir would.
And then I would just because I know that you have muscle and it seems like you share a similar intent to me, I'm gonna just nod down to Gopati and just this, like letting you know that I have business there and you might be able to capitalize on it.
I think I yeah, of course, because Zorgir has no internal monologue. He says, Kukiri, that's Varric. If there's a price on the head of Gopati, this will be extremely easy for us. That Sulabin will be ours. But perhaps we should gain favor with Varric by waylaying some of Gopati's pitiful guards. Sharpen up.
Cool. I think we kind of cut there, and we cut to one of Gopati's Red Devil bodyguards, just lagging a little bit behind the main group. What happens with what was it, Kukri, and what were the names of your gang?
Oh yeah, they're all in the notes section. They're different things that
Hooker and Cleaver.
There's Hooker, Pairing, Cleaver. Those three he sent ahead, and he was talking to Kukiri.
Okay. Okay.
They're all Hooker, either names of different types of knives or things you would find in the kitchen.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think maybe Hooker, Pairing, and Cleaver let this guy know that he should stay behind just a sec. They've got something they want to show him. Okay, so I think we can kind of do a lot of that off scene, or maybe jump back to it. But let's cut to epitome. You're in the White-Eyed Woman, which is this massive, like 40-story tall titan of a creature that's been hollowed out. Still has that almost porcelain face, these big white eyes sort of staring out into nothingness. But behind that is offices, and then below are various tables set for devils. This is a devilish drinking establishment, and large devils will drink beverages fermented inside of other devils, and it's all just it's foul stuff. If you had a human stomach, it would churn. And I think you're here because you're looking for a bit of knowledge.
Indeed.
Yeah, but it's something you have to get from a very powerful devil who lives in the basement of this place. And yeah, it's not directly clear how you can get that.
So this level that I'm in now is just kind of a bunch of rowdy demons drinking alcohol, right?
Yeah.
I guess I'll go up to the bartender. and order some demon liquor.
Okay. Yeah, the bartender provides you with some purple demon ichor.
Mm. I'm not sure why I ordered this. I don't have an esophagus, but I thought it might make things more easy when I ask you where I can meet your manager.
You mean him? And he kind of points downwards.
I peer over the counter. No, it's a black demon who lives in the basement.
Yes, down, very far down.
Right. That was just him misunderstanding the pointing. If that's not clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
This demon is just. I mean, this guy's a red demon, and they're they're kind of like warlike and brash and silly and not super clever.
So how might I arrange a meeting with him?
Yes, well, you'll have to speak to one of his envoys, and he points across the bar. Amongst all the chaos, there's this little blue demon with a beard that kind of covers most of his or her little face. It's like you can't see where a mouth would be. It's just like beard from eyes to like navel, just beard. And this great long pointy nose that's kind of kinked at the end. Just things down. Tal Rosan.
Tal Rosan. Okay. So I'll slip a coin to the bartender and take the drink with me. And I'll go and kind of sit in lotus position across from Tal Rosan and offer the purple ichor.
Cool. Tal Rosan has tiny, almost yellow irises set in purple eyes, and is kind of looking around left and right, like, what's up with this? Stares down at the drink, stares up at you, and reaches up and tries to flip through the pages, like not understanding what's going on here.
Hold on, I'm not a phone book.
How are you doing that? You see no movement of the beard. Like, there's no mouth in there. It's just a kind of honking from that same area.
Well, this is how I was made, and I won't question how you were made, so let's just leave it at that.
My goodness. It was a dark pact that made me, but what made you? Oh, that's much worse.
Well, perhaps that liquor will make it better. I've heard that drinking enough of that will make anyone look palatable.
So he puts his little finger into the drink and then just drips it into one eye and blinks really heavily. The iris just dilates to maximum, and he's kind of closing the eye from the brightness of the room.
Maybe I should try that next time.
Yes, maybe. What do you want except to get me drunk?
I've been told you are an envoy of him.
Keep your voice down. He's reaching up, trying to grab your shoulders.
The body kind of like rocks underneath, but the book stays like in the same position. I did not mean to cause a fuss. I'm only here for knowledge.
All right. Yes. Well, come on. Just sit here.
I can do that.
It's very strange. The sound is just kind of coming out of your face.
Well, has anyone ever mentioned how your beard doesn't move when you talk?
No. What beard?
I'll kind of reach at his beard if we're getting all touchy-feely here.
Don't touch my flaps. Okay.
All right.
So-
We've both learned a lesson
all right,
about
yes.
personal space today.
We've come to an agreement. Now, what do you want to know?
Well, I've received a lot of information that has been gathered from the heavenly realm, but I feel as if my study will not be complete until I've acquired some wisdom from the demonic realm as well. Two halves make a whole.
I see. Just scratching his head. So, yeah, you want me to go and ask him something?
What I would learn would not be able to be condensed into one simple question. I must study the body of work that the devils have compiled over eons.
You want to see him?
Well, I do enjoy a bit of light reading now and again, as opposed to a lecture. I like to study on my own.
Yeah. Okay. Right. But no. Yeah. But what do you got?
I have some coin, but I'm a scholar, not a professor.
You're telling me you have my true name?
Well, I suppose if I rifled through here, and if I kind of like tap the side of the book, there's untold number of names in here, but it's not a phone book.
No, that's what you would say. Okay, you can see him. I'll take you to him.
Okay, very polite of you.
Just keep my name out of that book of yours.
Okay, it's Rumpelstiltskin, was it?
No, don't guess.
Oh, okay, but
No.
So what does it look like? Do you have books, scrolls, tablets?
No, it's he himself, the granddaddy, the big man.
Oh, so it does sound like another lecture. I'll pull out like a cassette recorder, kind of blow some dust off of it.
Nice. Okay. Cool. He's like, yeah. Okay. In 5 minutes, I'm gonna go down that hallway. In 7 minutes, you go down that hallway.
All right, I'll set my watch here.
He dips a finger and like gets the other eye with the purple demon eye core. Now both of his eyes are just wide and like kind of bloodshot. Yeah. Okay. And then he just takes off down the hallway. Let's cut there. Let's jump to cube. 24 right angles. So I think cube has to deal with something kind of mundane. Maybe you're at the Hunger Ledger. It's kind of a bank, but because the currencies are not super stable. I don't know why I'm telling you this. You know all about it. The Hunger Ledger. Banks, they keep accounts for who owes them food, basically. They'll accept lots of kinds of coins. But there are clerks there, and I think like somebody messed up your account, and it's saying that you owe like crazy amounts of money or something like that. Like it's just not even feasible. And they're like, well, if you don't think that that's right, come down and explain yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm fairly simple, straightforward. I would ask the clerk, what could I have possibly, gotten in trade for for that many promises? What you see here is what I have. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I think there's this little plate in front of this clerk. It says Bozaz, and Bozaz is a little blue demon with thick glasses and like pointy ears, pointy nose, and just kind of thin, and has a pencil in each hand, and is like kind of writing at the same time with both, and like kind of like crossing things out. And he says, "Yes, I have your account here, and you know it is awfully strange that all of a sudden there was this massive withdrawal from your account. Um, Tell me, where were you on this date?" And he's giving you like a date a week and a half ago.
Um, I was showing up the roof in the temple of the Peerless Star.
Oh, yes. Yes, they have some accounts with us. I'm familiar with them. Now, see, now that would be on their ledgers as well. And so he calls over another demon with this, who's got this big leather-bound tome, and it's all embossed, and it's the Peerless Star tome, and they're looking through it. And it's like, yes, you were there that day, weren't you? Well, I'm afraid this is beyond my skill. I think you're going to have to speak with one of the hunger barons. And he kind of gestures behind him. This is like this great stonework building, and there's just a big metal door with some like eye holes in the top. And yeah, he's got he dings a little bell, and then the top kind of slides open, and you can see these two just blank black eye sockets, and you can tell that this is one of those creatures that is just a skull with a giant pyramid of some kind of flesh under it, with covered in hair. Just really hideous creatures. And yeah, he kind of moves out of the way, opens the door.
Who am I to judge?
Yeah. Fair enough.
So this is a creature behind the door. It's not like the door.
Right. He's within that room, and just a little kind of skeletal hand kind of beckons you inside.
Okay. I would. I guess I'm assuming this guy is the Hunger Baron.
Yeah.
So I would be, on best behavior. Your Honor, sir. I'm a simple worker. I haven't had, a fourth rice ball, on a day in 4 weeks. I don't know how I could have charged this amount.
Yeah. So he opens his mouth, and it's just like an echo. His voice is like an echo down a long hallway, and he just says, "That seems very unlikely." And he gets out the books and he starts going through it. It looks like someone made a withdrawal from your account, but that person was not authorized. Yes.
Out of character, is there like some sort of identifying chip or something I'm supposed to have, that maybe has been lifted off my person?
No, you would have had to kind of go in person to make withdrawals.
Okay. So I would get food directly from this place.
From this or from its various branches, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. if you needed it. Or sometimes your employer has an account and they give you the food up and everything like that. So yeah, you don't notice anything missing like that. Yeah, he says, "Oh, that fool! It's Gopati." And he closes the book. I need you to do something for me.
Of course.
I can offer you 70 days worth of food.
What must I do?
I need you to deliver this letter to the man who took out food in your name.
Gladly, but can you describe him to me?
Oh, yes, he left a complete record before he opened one of our larger accounts. And he's got like an artist's drawing of the guy and just a list of known associates, a list of locations, and then a few things. He kind of circles a few things to kind of let you know. He should be leaving the flesh hook on at the end of today, for example. So yeah, he's got this little file, and he says he calls out to Bozaz, like, Bozaz, come in here, and he has Bozaz make like a photocopy essentially like by hand of this exact document, and he stamps the bottom right corner and hands it to you. You should be able to find him with this. I'm afraid I can't trust my own people with it. We've had a lot of problems with corruption lately, and Bozaz, you can hear his heart rate increasing.
Um, you know, I'm thrilled at the prospect of this much food. Yeah, I could probably live off that for a while. And so I take the note, and I look over it and I feel all over it with my antenna, and I rush out to find this flesh hook.
Cool. All right. What do we think, folks? Should we take another quick break? We're coming up on 2 hours here.
Works for me.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. Let's take 5 and then
What was that guy's name? Go potty.
Gopati. Yeah. Gopati.
I had to actually stop myself when you said it was go potty. I had to stop myself from saying no. I went earlier.
Oh my.
Good night.
All right. And okay. See you guys. You're muted there, Matthew.
Thank you. I'm actually just doing voice dictation because that's usually how I type.
Oh, okay.
I've got a nice case of repetitive strain injury, so typing isn't always very much fun for me.
Ouch. That doesn't sound good.
Luckily, voice recognition's pretty good, although sometimes the sentences that come out from what I say are pretty ridiculous, but it's generally not too bad.
Good. I hear the tech is getting better, so it's not a bad idea.
I always have trouble with that. I was actually calling my health insurance earlier today, and nothing works. Only yes and no questions work. I have to wait for it to prompt me a second time with the numbers that you can press.
So it's
That
not
sounds pretty awful.
And the phone is just such a low quality signal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I found is that when I had like a pretty crappy desktop mic, like just 50% of the words were just like so wrong. And then I got a much better mic and it was like all of a sudden a lot better. So
yeah, signal quality really matters.
Slade, unless you had any other wise ideas, I was thinking it'd be fun if this other assassin was from the Fox school, because they seem to be disguising themselves. That's probably a classic Fox tactic. Can impersonate voices or sounds they have heard.
Oh, okay. I think I got it figured then.
Cool. Could be a fun rivalry, I think.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Do we know what Go Potty does? Does he work for the Hunger Bank?
No, he's his own kind of guy. He's sort of a self-made man, as much as that's possible here. Just a human who came here and was able to find use for their skills and gather a fortune. So it sounds like he has he has a big account, but he's not part of that. He's his own kind of guild.
And he's human?
Yeah.
He won't be for long if I have anything to say about it. In case you missed it, Daniel, he's the dude that was buying the other assassin slave at the beginning that we are currently conspiring to deal with in some way or another.
I got that, and I'm sure I'm
Cool.
going to run in at the worst possible moment.
Yeah.
I would only expect that Cube will slow me down one way or another.
Yeah. So I wonder, is it Varric or Zorak here that finally kind of confronts Gopati at the end?
Well, Varric is an assassin. I don't think he's much on confronting anybody, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Is there a kind of respect among thieves? Like, what's the protocol when both of you want someone dead?
Well, I was thinking about this, and if I'm working against this other assassin, it wouldn't be that interesting if we both just went and claimed that we had done it or something, right? Like I'd probably want proof or somebody to kind of bear witness to my killing to kind of get the actual reward from the contract. Or I guess as long as the person's dead, then we're probably going to get paid. But I guess then me and the other assassin would both be able to make a claim to that. Is that right?
Yeah, you'd either have to split it or fight for it.
Right. So it's a singular contract put out among multiple assassins, right? Not two different contracts from two different people.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, you could always go and negotiate once you both had the claim, but maybe best not to.
Yeah, I think somehow I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm the one who pulls this off and that they don't get any credit for it. But yeah, if Zorakir has his folks with him and he knows that I have my eye on Gopati, then it might be more apt that those people start causing some trouble of some kind or some sort of distraction or something.
Sounds good.
Cool. Yeah, so Gopati and his human clerks and his demon bodyguards and Sulabin kind of being dragged along. He looks kind of out of it, not really super cognizant of what's going on. Just kind of getting prodded and pushed along. They're making their way to the King's Road Bazaar, which is a great big road that goes through the center of town and is occupied by people selling things. And it's just dense as hell. Like if you try to go shopping in like little shops in like a huge city like New York or Tokyo or something, it's just dense. Excuse me. Just dense with people. And but the advantage is that 2 hours every day it clears out, and when it clears out, there's a massive rush of people going both ways and every which way, like trying to get across, because it is the most direct route through the center of Throne. So it looks like Gopati and his retinue are kind of slowing down and just waiting for the clock to strike 3 when this all happens. But once that happens, it's going to be a crazy rush of activity, and you might kind of lose him.
I'll mend over to my gang. This is the time. We're after Sulabin, but it seems that Gopati has run afoul of us. So if we happen to waylay him for coin, that sounds fun. Yeah. I'll approach. Everyone move around and flank me. Be ready to take down those guards.
Cool.
And then I'll approach Gopati.
Nice. At this moment, I think we have our other 2 characters, Epitome and Cube, are able to catch up. Epitome learned something from he himself, the devil at the center of the earth, essentially. And we'll figure out what it was in play at some point, but it led you here. So maybe we'll do a flashback in a future episode. Okay. So, Gopati's not really paying a huge amount of attention. Just kind of waiting around, looking around. He wants to keep Sulabin pretty close, but not too close by the looks of it. Like 2 or 3 steps away and no closer, but no farther. And he recognizes you, Zorakir, from the auction.
Of course.
And he narrows his eyes.
Stroke my chin as I approach. A fine trick you pulled there, Gopati. Working with the auctioneer so that you could get a bargain basement price for an obvious prize. Bravo. I'm just trying to get as close to him as possible.
Sure. His red demons kind of close in. There's like one at each of his shoulders. But yeah, he narrows his eyes again. He says, "You're trying to take something that I had my eye on. What does it mean to you?"
I am no fool. I see the value of that human. Scrawny as he may look, there's something to him. Convince me to go away.
I don't have to convince you of anything. It's almost the time. I'll be on my way soon enough.
You don't have time, my friend.
He kind of grits his teeth audibly, and the two demons start to just. It's almost as if they grow about 3% in size, and they're reaching for
3%.
weapons.
Terrifying.
They're already a good like 7 feet. Yeah, and they're like reaching, pulling out weapons and unsheathing them, and
Oh my. Ooh. My brethren, why would you attack me? Guys.
Okay, cool. So what does this look like here with your chefs?
Oh, I'm imagining my shit like they're a menagerie of goblins and different colored devils, and they just kind of come swarming around out of alleys and everything. It's haphazard, it's chaotic, it's very little plan, but they say swarm and stab a lot so that I can move forward and possibly skewer a potty. But hey, I'm perfectly happy if the assassin who's really good at doing that kind of stuff does it instead.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think we go to the moves. I think this is a case of reach heaven through violence. So I need to kind of remind myself how the boss attacks. It's a little different because you're attacking as a mob, basically, right? Okay, so anytime you make a move, you can declare you're making an example. Oh no, that's not that. Okay, you gain a group tag, so you deal +1 damage and take 1 less.
Oh, that's kind of cool. If I give her an inspiring speech, I can spend a power and get a 10 plus automatically. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, do you wanna do that?
Yeah, is they're forming around, and I look and say, oh my, and then I say, Cleaver, look here this day, what we have taken from this idiot merchant. It will be remembered in infamy. It's going to be up on the wall of the restaurant. Make it so.
Awesome. Okay, so you take a 10 plus in that case?
Yes, and I'll spend a power point or something.
I think you're okay to not spend the power die because you're taking 10.
Oh.
I think for the spending, it looks like you spend it to get 3 dice and choose the 2 best.
Okay, I was using Mantra of the Beast-Headed God.
Oh, okay.
Anytime you'd make a roll requiring you to roll plus boss, you can instead spend a power die to gain a 10 plus result automatically by making an example out of one of your gang members or giving a really damn inspiring speech.
Okay, I see how you mean when you say you're spending it. Okay. So they deal their damage, and that is taken against wounds of their enemies. So
Oh, and you were engaging the boss with. I got you. Okay, cool.
yeah. So they deal their damage, which should be 2, 4, various knives and cleavers. And yeah, I think because these are like basic level guards, they've got 2 wounds here, but they're a group, but you're also a group. So that cancels out. So I think just because of that success, you dispatch these guys. Yeah, your guys are cleaving through demons and hapless human clerks that are in the way, and it's looking like Gopati doesn't have the backup he thought he did.
Dope.
So yeah, there's a great bloody mess that that all of the characters are now witness to.
I think Varric has a perfect opportunity. I'm going to step away for like 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. So what is the reaction of Epitome to this gruesome scene?
Seems like par for the course for Zorik here. If anything, maybe he went easy on me earlier. Such a shameful display. Certainly they could have worked things out with words.
Nice. Varick, what is your reaction to that?
Well, I think I'd like to wait until Rich comes back because we're sort of working in tandem in this. But I'm imagining a scene where he's closing in on Gopati, and then Varick makes his move. Then.
Okay, cool. And how about Cube?
I'm sort of imagining Cube is going to work cross purposes to this because he wants Gopati to survive at least long enough to accept the letter and maybe sign something. I don't know if it's demon magic, maybe it will just automatically, seal when he grabs the letter. But I'm sort of imagining at some point during the confusion, Cube rushes in and basically just carts the guy off, maybe even in the wheelbarrow, and tries to have him for long enough to give him the letter.
Okay. Well, you're all aware of each other at this point because you're the only ones standing, essentially. There's a red demon off to the side, kind of coughing blood and looking pretty worse for wear. But yeah, time kind of slows down, and we have a bit of a moment of assessment from everyone.
I think I wouldn't mind if Cube got his hands on Gopati at least briefly. I think if Varick sees Cube rushing in, he's definitely at first curious and knows that the battle's going well, so he's probably going to have his chance no matter what.
All right. Yeah. Cube reaches around, from a side alley. He grabs Gopati, as his men are being cut down, and pulls him aside, and he's like, it looks like you're in some trouble. Maybe I could help. But let me. I don't know. I don't know if my tendency here is to try to play a trick, but like I don't think that fits this character. So I just want to, I guess, more directly, are you Gopati? And I'm forcing the letter at him.
Okay. Yeah, he kind of takes it and looks kind of confused, and looks down at it, which he should never have done, because now that he's seen it, he just kind of screams out in pain, and starts rubbing his eyes kind of violently.
Ooh. That's a. So would this be something I would have expected to happen?
No, not necessarily. No, this is something else.
I don't know. Can I try to understand what's going on?
Yeah, some kind of retaliation sigil symbol on the letter that's meant to show him who's boss, kind of thing. Just to kind of like, this is the beginning of payback, kind of a situation.
All right, so I don't have to do anything else with this guy. I don't have to drag him away from here.
No,
So,
turns to well,
though I guess turnaround is fair play. I'm going to rifle his pockets.
okay.
I'd like to. So I have Mantra of Ovis, the empty one, and I can spend a power die to tell the name a character location. Spend a power die and tell you that I'm there, very close to that character location, silently observing from a hidden perch.
Okay.
I can't tell anyone how I got there, not even the GM, for that would be to reveal the shadow arts.
I see. Okay. Where are you?
I'm hanging from like a lantern, just kind of like by one arm, just kind of like very monkey like I've got my like knives curled in both of my feet and one in my hand, kind of, and I'm just like, looks like this guy had a lot of enemies, huh? You're the third one after him.
I don't even know the man, but he apparently stole from me.
Well, he certainly made my job a lot easier.
You would attack a defenseless blind cripple?
Oh, my friend, I make a living out of it.
Well, at this point, GoBody can still hear all of you and starts kind of scramble over the corpses of his bodyguards and out and away from the situation.
Look what you did. I gotta go clean this up. I'd like to just go kill him now.
Okay. Well, let's not reveal the shadow arts then. Do you want to play that out, or do you have something you need to know from him, or tell him, or?
There might be. I guess I'm kind of. I don't know if there's anything that I could get from him related to Sulabine. Like if he knew anything about them, or because that's the rivalry there. That's a motivation for me. Like,
oh yeah, what is this slave assassin doing?
He's just kind of standing there, bad posture, just like head tilted to one side, like as if nothing's really happening. He's just kind of bored. Or he's out of it. He's not quite all there.
then I think maybe I would just make quick work of it and pull off, like, maybe he's got a really important ring or something that I can bring back to like show the contract worker that, like, proof of the kill, sort of. But I think I'd make it quick and easy.
Okay. And so it is done. Yeah, just corpses every which way, and Suleiman standing there. What does epitome do?
So I like the idea of leaving the secret knowledge a little bit undefined, but what course of action do you think it might prompt me to take here?
Oh, okay. So yeah, it wasn't that Gopati was the important party. It's this Sulabin guy who is the key. And
So I want to protect Sulabin, basically. Or I want to have him.
Yeah, you want to have him, and you need to take him somewhere. You need to take him across the King's Road.
Okay. Sorokir, do you have any sort of bid on this one?
I had a bid, but I was outbid. I'm interested in him. He seems very profitable, Zorakir says, as he's like picking through belt pouches and filching the dead.
He might be sick. I'm like poking at him.
Well, pray tell if the true winner of this bid were to be untimely expired by the services of some assassin, so to speak, what would you do with this one?
He seemed profitable to, have you ever heard of flipping? To the skill of flipping, you buy something and then you flip it. Like you spruce it up. I was going to heal him up a little bit and then just put him back on the market. Double, triple, perhaps. And now I can't do the math because anything times 0.
Yes, equals 0. That much I understand. Economics less so. Pray tell, before you apply your makeup and butter up this human here, perhaps I could lease him from you.
We would have to come to a fair price, and you seem to be very stupid about coins, so I like this arrangement.
Oh yes, indeed, I can pay. And I like reach for my coin purse, and it's completely empty. Oh, I'm a bit lighter than I thought I was.
Yeah.
Surely a resourceful individual such as yourself would desire things beyond mere coin.
Oh, there's some nice looking books you have in that pouch. I'm sure they could fetch a fine coin.
Oh, I suppose so, to those who know how to master and unlock their hidden potential.
Speaking of hidden potential, Cube is kind of poking at this guy, and he begins in a very soft voice, but he starts to speak, and he starts to get louder and louder, and he says, by the 17 corners of the 42 dimensions, the 7 kings and queens of Throne declare that all-out war is begun, and he just kind of continues on in this. He's getting louder and louder to the point where he's almost kind of shouting, and he's just repeating the same thing. And you all recognize this as the official declaration of war that that kind of can be sent by one of the kings, and if it arrives at the other king, it's go time, and Throne is back at war. Now there's been 10 centuries of peace, and the times before that was the times when like gods were getting killed. So this is not a welcome message to any of you because you live in Throne.
I'm placing my hands over his eyes, trying to shut him up. That's not how this works.
Yeah. Shove the bookman aside and try to gag him.
Cool. I kind of want to throw it to a roll because I want to see how loud he gets before somebody gets on his case. Let's see. It's not channel flame. It's not push. It's not a combat move.
Ooh, I forgot about dice.
You overcome. So yeah, I think like a 2 plus body. because you're kind of muscling this guy down. Yeah, let's do 2 plus body.
You mean 2d6?
Yeah, sorry, 2d6 and then add your body stat.
That's a 7.
Okay, so you are successful. You shut him up, but I'm going to introduce an additional complication trade-off or a bit of misfortune. Yeah, I think before he gets fully shut up, there is a little coterie of 3 blue demons that kind of like turns your way, hears just enough for their ears to perk up, and then they just kind of scatter into the crowd. And at that moment, ding, everyone pack up your stalls. It's a sea change, and people just start moving, like speed walking through the King's Road. And people are coming your way, and they're just trampling over the bodies that are here, and it's just a mess.
Quickly wrap this guy up in rope, and like let's take this inside. Yeah, maybe there's a bar close by.
Sure, yeah. There's the leaky boot, which is like a hollowed out foot. That's big enough to house everybody.
How many demons would have witnessed that? Like, is this something that Varric, from his vantage point, could like see and maybe remember them or try and track them or something?
You know the faces of those 3 demons.
Okay.
That seem to like really kind of have it click and immediately after like bolt into the shadows. So if you saw them again, you'd know who they are.
Okay, I think that's good for now then.
Can I ask, is this like war declaration something they can pass on now? Like are they as dangerous as this guy?
So like the entire, I can't sort of extemporaneously give you like the full 7-minute version of it, but like it's this whole long, like almost like a poem that explains a bit of the history of Throne, and then
But the danger, I guess the danger from them is that they either know we have this guy, or they know that this thing is going to go down at some point.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to know whether or not they see it as something they can get advantage of by telling other people, or by coming back and kidnapping this guy. Or it's hard to tell what their smart move would be. But yeah, the danger essentially is that somebody else knows that there's a walking time bomb going across the King's Road.
We all know the danger that this possesses, and war would be a very untimely distraction from my enlightenment. What can we do to
I drop down.
play this?
I think I drop down and I say, could be a distraction, yes, but
Ah! An assassin already!
not for you. You're not worth the contract, pal. Don't worry about it. This is an opportunity. Zorak here. You know a good deal when you see it. This is valuable information. I know you got connections.
Of course I do.
Well, let's think. This is a golden opportunity dropped into our laps. The 4 of us, fated for whatever reason, here together. We got to get something out of this. And it's not just knowledge. There's money to be made here. Crim.
Golden opportunity. This is a black doom upon us all. War and throne would be
4 of us and 3 small blue ones.
Oh, great.
You got to take what you can get in times like this.
He's not wrong.
Well,
Make the best of it.
I'm going to get going while the going's good. If you ask me.
I don't know about that. You seem knowledgeable.
He seems knowledgeable, but he's actually a fool.
Oh, a fool who's going to make out of this alive when I retreat to my mountain of seclusion, perhaps.
Maybe we need more knowledge, and I point towards this guy who's bound up, and maybe just on a table we're talking around now, and is like, can we figure out? Well, is he like aware of us, or is he just mindlessly trying to present this message?
So now that he's been kind of wrestled to the ground, he's no longer trying to speak.
Who did you come from? Who sent you this message? Or who sent this message? Where are you going?
I have to take it to the kings.
So not a specific guy to a specific guy. Who gave you the message?
That I don't know.
Ah, Sulabin, you used to be great. You could have been somebody. Now look at you. You're a shell. You're a pawn.
And he goes, now look at you. You're a pawn. You're a shell. And he's like getting better at impersonating your voice. He's just trying to work around, like try to, just kind of like a natural habit of like, he's trying to like copy your facial expression now.
Does he seem to be in control of his faculties? Like, is this regular behavior? Is there some brain worm implanted in his head that has made him this way?
It's feeling brain wormy, but what he's doing right now feels like the kind of thing that he should be doing kind of internally, but he has no internal monologue anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So someone broke him, and Bookman, you might be able to figure out how to fix him so that this dude doesn't go walking into the area that we don't want him to be in. But that just sounds so easy.
I should have known better than to seek enlightenment from devils. Now all I have is entanglement. Well, I suppose you're right. We shouldn't just let him wander to and fro.
We could put a collar around his neck with a bell.
Yeah, you're such a boss, man. Leashing people? Sims don't take kindly to leashes, but I suppose it's all right if you do it to him.
Exactly. See? There you go.
Maybe good food and a strong drink will return his faculties. If not, you could try a firm blow to the face.
All right, here's what I'm thinking, real quick. All right, so this guy, one of the kings has declared war on one of the other kings, and we know that is inevitable, right? If this guy doesn't get through, I'm sure there's a few million other people that they could just do the same thing to. We know that this war is going to happen. This is information that we can capitalize on. If we can sell this to certain people, we can get, certain people can get prepared for what's going to happen, because if war is coming, war is coming. I don't know if there's much we can do to stop that. This will be the first of many.
That's not what himself said to Epitome. He said, this is the guy.
But I am supposed to take him to his destination?
Not the destination he wants to go, but the destination where you can kind of get this brain worm out of him.
Okay. I know a place of total mental bliss, complete eradication of all thought, all ideology. We could take him there and wipe this whole mess clean and avoid a war.
I knew you'd be the hero type.
I'm a little confused on the profit angle here. I really like where my assassin friend was headed. Because there's always a war. It's a war every day. I'm gonna have to think about it, and yeah, maybe I go and see where the highest bidder might lie on this information.
You heard the boss.
This might indeed be a good time for me to try a drink. I think our shiny friend here has wisdom.
There's always conflict, but we haven't seen a war between the kings in many years before my grandfather's.
You got some old grandfathers, pal.
Yeah. I hate to suggest it, because especially since he's lying here defenseless and out of his faculties, but what's to stop us from simply doing away or getting rid of this person?
Perfect. Okay. So Sullivan, on some kind of lizard brain level, is kind of seeing where this conversation is going. That's awesome. So now he stands up and he's got a bit of a clearing kind of look to his face, and his arms kind of stretch out a little bit, breaking any restraints that are on him. And he just begins to glow faintly, kind of faintly yellow, and rise up off the ground, and like the bodies of the clerks and the demons start to rise also. And I think we kind of cut it right there.
All right.
Thanks, Slade.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think that's... I mean, we could probably go another 20 minutes, but I think it's better just to kind of cut right there. And yeah, so awesome. That was weird, and I liked it. Can we do maybe a 1 minute each of just not necessarily roses and thorns, but things you noticed, good or bad, or anything like that? Can I throw it to you first, Rich?
Sure. So I was really excited to find out that this game exists, not only exists, but was at least partially co-written by the webcomic creator. I love that. The design of it, I went and backed the Patreon just so I could get access to it. I think it is a really, really pretty... I wish I loved it, but I really kind of wish, to be honest, that this was a Dungeon World supplement. There's a whole lot of extra stuff thrown in here that I don't necessarily think needs to be here. It's a way more complicated game than it needs to be. And again, this is a thing of just looking at it, but they're just... Yeah.
You mean with the power and the fumble and the break?
Right. Why do you need more? Why more? Dungeon World works just fine. Didn't see what it was doing that was worth the extra mental effort. Again, first blush, literally looked at it all of 5 minutes, so it could unlock for me, but that was my thought. That said, I enjoyed the characters that we have. I like the options that exist for character creation. I really like the character keeper that you guys created. It was nice. It walked me through. It was good work.
That's all Michael. He's kicking ass.
Probably want to throw in a tab for NPCs because we dropped a whole bunch of names, and a place where we could keep that for future reference would be really helpful. But all in all, I think there's some really neat tech going on with this character creation kind of walkthrough. Good stuff. And Slade, thank you. I enjoyed your weirdness. You embraced this wacky setting, and it was fun.
Oh, thank
Yeah, the system is definitely more complex than Dungeon World, but it's really not as complex as a lot of systems. Yeah.
Okay, let me restate. It's too complex for me to get right away.
Sure. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying. Um, for me, that's a common issue with a lot of games where it's like, I could just be playing Dungeon World. Yeah.
Right. That's my that was the short version of what I was trying to say is like this is a Dungeon World supplement would probably been like super badass. Take the awesome, the flavor, the art, Dungeon World, and bam. That said, it's basically back as Patreon. You get it with that, so it's not like I didn't feel overcharged at all. Like I can totally just use this later for whatever I want.
Cool. Michael, what did you think?
Yeah, I think it's really quite interesting. Game wise, the playbooks are super cool. I really like the different moves, and I think that they work together pretty well. This session wise, I really liked everyone's characters. I thought were really unique and cool, and really embraced all of the weirdness that Broken Worlds and KSPD kind of offers. Except we didn't have the giant golden baby, but that's okay.
He was there. He was just in the background. I didn't mention him.
Right.
Sorry.
I honestly forgot about that until I mentioned it here in character creation, but I was already attached to this idea.
Yeah,
Could
he's
have
that's
had a
a
giant
cool
golden
handle.
baby.
I am very intrigued by this development, and I'm looking forward to trying this sort of experiment here, Slade, where we swap GM roles week to week. I think that's going to be really cool. It'll be an exercise that I will enjoy trying, and I think if it works out, it might be a cool template for other GMs and players in the Gauntlet who might be interested in trying this out, but are maybe intimidated by a full 4-session run or something like that. And I think it's just like a really like nice like story game DNA kind of business, which I'm a big fan of. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I really liked using my weird wizard voice for epitomes. So anytime I can do that's fun too.
Props. That's awesome. Matthew.
I also really liked you using your weird wizard voice, so I hope that we get more of that. I also really like the duo collaboration thing. I think I mentioned on the Slack before, but that's definitely something that I'm personally interested in doing. I work so much better with other people, and I think it's fun being able to throw things at each other, like, oh, here's my cliffhanger. Let's see how you come back with this later on, right? I think it very plays into the principles of the kind of role playing that we do of yes anding and sharing ideas and building on them. But I'm surprised it's not done more, to be honest. But yeah, I'm stoked for that. And then I'm digging the game. I think from our first session, it felt closer to like Apocalypse World than maybe another kind of like more adventure style game. Just with like, I think that's more because of how we started and how it's like, here's a situation, get into things. But I do like that it has a bit more of that tone and a bit more of that like straight from Apocalypse World DNA. I mean, obviously there's like 10 to 15 different fighting styles and stuff like that. So there's a whole bunch of stuff kind of to get into. But it seems to be working for me for now. I'm not like it'll take a lot of play to figure out how much of this stuff is all really necessary, right? But I'm excited to kind of figure out some more of these things. I like the push mechanic, and yeah, as far as games that are in based on a set canon. Even though we said like, oh, we're not going to worry about it too much, we'll drift. I always have this like internal compulsion to like play into the canon. Like I'm a big perfectionist in that way, and I'm big into like setting consistency and stuff, which sometimes gets in my way. But so I'm trying to kind of wrestle with that, where I want to stay faithful to the source material, but I don't know that much about it. So it's just a personal thing. But I'm definitely going to read a bunch more of the comic before next week, so I might have some new ideas about it.
Nice. Daniel, what did you think?
I really liked the place names you came up with. Like, well, I mean, like the Meat Hook and the Hunger Bank. Um, you know, that sort of background and stuff. You came up with a couple bar names that were really nice. Leaky Boot. Um, and I think that adds a lot of character to the background. Um, I that was one thing is I noticed like this system has wealth units, and I didn't see that anywhere on the character sheet, and we really didn't get into that. But like, you know, people were just like Zorik here was bidding, you know, and I was wondering if we were gonna like start talking about wealth levels going up and down, you know.
There's a series of like interconnected moves that kind of deal with wealth.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, it's
I like that idea, you know, because one of the things I don't like in Dungeon World is gold, you know, and like a lot of times you go through a whole dungeon, it's like, okay, I gave them a bunch of magic items. Oh, but they're penniless. You know, they go to a store, you know, they go to an inn. It's like none of us have a single gold coin to our names, you know, or you know, they raid a dragon treasure. It's like, well, what's the dragon treasure have? It's 16,000 gold. He's like, okay, well, we never have to adventure again, you know. You know, like how many pots and pans can we get for that? You know, it's nice to just have levels of like you guys are wealthy enough to get that, or you're not wealthy enough to get that. You know?
Yeah, or you have to extend yourself, and then we've got all kinds
Yeah.
of story options with that. Yeah, I like that abstraction as well, and like the scale of money. Like maybe Rich's character is like literally tens of thousands of times richer than other characters in the setting. Like just gross amounts of wealth at some points.
Well, not if you can't hold a restaurant open.
And I certainly stink of wealth, so
Yeah.
probably pretty gross.
Let's do a quick end of session move. This takes probably 4 seconds. So just from everybody, thumbs up, thumbs down. Did we fail in some regard?
Yeah, we failed to keep it hidden.
Okay. Did we expose ourselves to danger, cost, or retribution through our actions?
Yeah, we're trying to keep Sullivan from delivering his message, and I'm sure that will come back and hurt.
Did we progress our story in a meaningful way?
War is coming.
Okay. So everybody marks 3 XP.
cool. I think you need 3 plus your level to level up.
Oh,
So close. Is
Yeah.
it XP on a fail with this game, or?
I didn't see that.
Okay.
No, I didn't see that. I think it's just these 3 questions.
really?
So
Well, it's something we can look up, I guess.
yeah. We've gone through all the moves, but some of the moves will grant you stuff on fails. Yeah. Something to look up, I think. I didn't see it.
You can also train, I think, or something.
I think training gives you a power die for that session.
Yeah.
Mark experience and gain a single power die.
Oh, really?
That's
So
neat.
I will agree with Rich insofar as there is a lot of tech in this that I don't know how to use. So
Yeah.
something to brush up on a bit before next session, and yeah. So I guess it's my turn. I love everything. You guys are awesome. I like the setting. I always feel like the pacing is a little slow the first session. Don't know if I felt that as much this time. I thought we were pretty good for getting stuff done. didn't flounder too much. I want to see what happens. I want to see violence, like proper 3 comic book pages of attacks happening.
I promise combat right off the bat tomorrow or next week.
Dang it, I'll miss it.
Rich, no.
Rich
We
did
need your-
too well, though. That was the problem. He didn't even get to roll. It was just like, I want to slaughter these dudes. Well, you're the boss.
No complaints.
But section after that. Yeah. So, any other outstanding things that you want to mention? We know that Rich and Michael will be in different roles next week.
So you're going to be playing a character then?
So I'll be playing a character, and I'll hang out with Michael for 5 minutes after everyone heads out, and we'll just throw something together. He'll just be an interesting NPC that joins.
Or you could be, obviously, maybe you'd be this guy who's talking or glowing right now.
That's not a bad idea. And then I can die in some spectacular fashion.
Nice.
So yeah, I guess if we start the next session with trying to murder you, that's not a great idea.
Well,
Sure. It's great. Do it.
maybe. So start with some PvP. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much, everyone. I thought all the contributions were awesome, and I think we're moving things forward without sticking too close to the lore in a way that would be kind of, just stuffy and bookish. No offense, Epitome.
Got him.
So yeah, Michael and I will stick around for a bit, and I'll see everybody else next week or 2 weeks from now.